Lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shwebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them or are dragging on both sides, you cannot you cannot breathe.
That's what
And these
matters.
women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
It's a wonderful Monday morning, and of course I do welcome you to This Morning on ITV right here on the ITV network, where we get to take a look at the trending issues across Nigeria's social and political landscape, making sense of the twists, the turns, and everything that truly matters. I'm Chukufumnanya Digwe, and of course I'm right here in our Benin Network Center. We also have, other anchors in Abuja and Lagos, but right here in Benin, I'm joined with a very seasoned broadcaster, and of course my boss is right here with me this wonderful Monday morning to lead the conversation in our Benin Network Center. I have Dr. Sunny Duke Okosu. A wonderful morning to you.
A delight to have you join me on the show this lovely Monday morning. So much talking point as it relates to all the issues that have been at the front burner in recent times as far as the nation is concerned. But was here a whole lot to talk about today.
All right, definitely a whole lot to talk about, even starting from outside the country, talking about the attempted coup in Benin, to even, all of the insecurity that has been spanning in Nigeria per time. These are the issues that are going to form
ITV.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
people barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe.
Oh,
And
wow.
these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
All right, so welcome back, and our apologies for that abrupt break. We're still right here talking about the trending issues politically and socially, not just in Nigeria, not just in Africa, but globally. But I mean, Nigeria and Africa definitely are the center of our conversation. And talking about Africa, there was just an attempted coup in Benin Republic. There's a lot of people talking about this about how, you know, there's been this strain of coups going on, and how this was the government of the day in Benin Republic managed to stifle this coup and regain control of the government. Well, all of these things we're going to be talking about right here on the program. And I did tell you, we're not just broadcasting live right here in Benin. We also have Abuja and Lagos anchors standing by. And right about now, you would get to meet them. Maybe we'll get to meet our Abuja anchor right here on the show.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. So much conversation there coming out from Benin. But the big one came out yesterday night from the presidential villa, when some of us who are there had to ask very intensive questions, because the coup was not just a coup, according to what we saw from the Interior Minister of President Patrice Talon, that he actually, the military they tried their best. But one big thing that came out yesterday from the aborted coup in Benin was the fact that Nigerian Chief of Air Staff was mandated by the Commander-in-Chief of the Nigerian Forces, President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to immediately deploy the Nigerian Air Forces. So, immediately that coup broke out yesterday morning, Nigerian fighter jet closed the airspace of Benin, and at that particular point, the military juntas who are taking over the state broadcast station knew it was up. So they had to give up. The military on the ground was threatened by the air power of the Nigerian Air Force around there. And that now brings to further discussion in the media. Why don't we do same here? If a coup can take place in Benin, and you got President Tinubu got a call from President Patrice Talon, the villa found to be true, and immediately deployed fighter jet, shot the airspace country, and the fighter jets were all hovering around space until the military junta, until they knew that it was the military on the ground were straight to take. I think my sister and Dr. Sani Duke Okosu is something that Nigerians will be discussing for long here, and the issue of the coup is also in the front burner. Why coup everywhere? Are we having severe democratic failure in the African continent, particularly West African sub-region, where persons having leaders who live like kings in palaces, while those whom they govern live like children born to old women? My name is Iharo Atta, in the life from Abuja this morning.
All right, thank you so much, Iharo Atta, for that submission that you gave concerning the attempted coup in Benin Republic, an attempt to oust the president of 10 years, Patrice Talon. I mean, there's been conversation about how he's trying, how he's done well for the government. But despite that, these people came on national television. The military personnel, those military personnel came on national television to attempt this. And you also brought the part of the conversation that is very important, Nigeria's role in quelling that coup. We have Mercelina from our Lagos Network Center. She is standing by. Greetings to you, Mercelina.
Beautiful morning to you, Chukumfunaya. Good morning, Sonny Okosu, and good morning, Iharo Atta from Abuja. I mean, it's a beautiful morning here in Lagos, a beautiful Monday morning with a beautiful weather. We're good here in Lagos. I mean, the coup issue has been trending since yesterday on the internet, and according to what Iharo has said, you know, democracy, you know, in Benin Republic, you know, the coup has taken over the government. I mean, is this something we can attempt in Nigeria? Is something we can try in Nigeria? At the same time, you know, they're reaching out to Nigeria. What do we have to do? What is our say in this particular thing that has been trending since yesterday from Benin Republic? But that is not our main focus here in Lagos today. We are still talking about the VIP's escort, you know, that was withdrawn. The police that was withdrawn from VIPs. You know, that is what we'll be focusing more today in Lagos. If it's going to help curb insecurity, if it's going to help, because they've started recruiting them to the streets, to roads, you know, to help fight insecurity, to help curb insecurity. So is it really going to help? Because it has started working. They've started working on it today. Yesterday, we've seen that they've, you know, put some persons on the road. You know, that's basically what we're looking from in Lagos today. If it will help curb insecurity, I mean, we've been seeing a couple of kidnapping, banditry for some weeks now. So that is basically going to be our focus here from Lagos today.
All right, thank you for letting us in there, Messilina, what you'll be having, also giving us an insight on your own submission to the attempted coup in Benin. And just to, you know, lend a voice to the president's recent reform of withdrawing police personnel from VIPs and politically affiliated persons, and now sending them out to certain areas in our communities to basically try to get our security architecture back in place. There's also been army retirement suspension, something that we've seen in the pages of the papers this morning. It's on the news. The Nigerian Army has suspended all statutory and voluntary retirements for certain categories of officers following the nationwide security emergency declared by President Bola Tinubu. Now, this is contained in an internal memo dated December 3 and signed by Major General E.I. Okoro on behalf of the Chief of Army Staff. Now, it did state that the suspension of retirement was to retain manpower, experience and operational capacity as the armed forces expand in response to rising insecurity. We've seen a lot of things come out of the nationwide security emergency declared by the president, and we're hoping to see results as the time goes on. Not just talk, not just reforms, but results. We're still right here on TMI on the ITV network. We'll take a short break, and up next is our newspaper review segment. Do stay tuned.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
people barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Welcome back to another segment of TMI right here on the ITV network. And right now we'll be reviewing the newspaper. So we're in the newspaper review segment. And let's see what the front pages are saying. Let's take a look at the front pages of our papers. Our first point of call this morning is This Day newspaper. For a major headline there, you see Presidency says how Tinubu ordered Nigeria's military to fall Benin coup, sent in air ground troops, federal government. It was direct assault on democracy. Move represents a subversion of the will of the people, declares ECOWAS, deploys forces. Fix bad leadership or expect more military takeovers, CD warns regional body. It's concerning Atiku expresses worry. And that story is on page 5. It basically does talk about the recent attempted coup in Benin Republic, which we have tried to throw light on, and which Ikaru Attah did also give his own insights about how the presidency of the day in Nigeria sent air troops to Benin Republic as the coup was actually going on, to quell all of this. So, you know, that story is on page 5, and you can read all about it on This Day newspaper. Also on This Day, you get to see France offers help to defeat terrorism. Ribadu meets U.S. congressmen. 100 children released in Niger. American delegation tours Benue. Visits IDPs. Meets with governors. Others. Deji Olumoye, Emmanuel Sunday, Linus Aleke in Abuja, and all of that are the stories on This Day newspaper. Also on This Day, you get to see ADC to Obi, make up your mind now. Atiku visits Jonathan in Abuja home. That is on the political scene, and you get to see it on page 5 also of This Day newspaper. Well, that is those are some of the stories, on This Day newspaper. Another one, I think it's on the business and entertainment scene. At the same time, you get to see Netflix deal to buy Warner Bros. For $72 billion, shocks Hollywood unions. Also, that's on page 5 on This Day newspaper. Let's move now to our next paper we'll be taking a look at this morning. Well, the next paper right there is Vanguard. Vanguard headlines: Democracy survives, how Benin rep coup failed. And that's said by federal government, and it's seen on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. It also headlines Benin Interior, Foreign Ministers speak, 12 soldiers arrested. Nigerian Air Force conducts multiple precision airstrikes on fleeing coup plotters. Federal government, ECOWAS, AU condemn attempted takeover. ECOWAS deploys troops in Benin Republic. Also on Vanguard, on page 6 of Vanguard, it's headlined there: Federal government secures release of 100 school children abducted in Niger State. Also on page 9, Serap to INEC. Explain missing 55.9 billion naira voted for 2023 poll materials. List smart card readers, ballot papers, others. Also on Vanguard, on page 6 of Vanguard, you see police storm kidnappers camp in Abuja, rescue 7 victims, arrest suspected killers of retired judge in Delta. And those are some stories on Vanguard. Also on Vanguard, amid blackouts, NEC experts clash as disco's revenue rises to 1.7 trillion naira. Billing collection efficiency on the rise, and that's said by NERC. Also on that story, experts disagree, say customers are being cheated. Also on Vanguard newspaper, you get to see about the PDP crisis. Wike's camp moves to reorganize state chapters, conduct fresh congresses, convention, and that is on page 8 of the Vanguard newspaper. So those are the stories. You can go ahead and grab a copy to read all about it. Let's move on to our next paper this morning. We'll be taking a look at Vanguard. The Guardian. The Guardian headlines there: relief in Cotonou as NAF joint force repel coup plotters in Benin Republic. Also on the Guardian newspaper, concerns over fiscal governance as 2026 budget misses timeline. Also on the Vanguard, you see CAC to shut illegal POS operators, orders registration by January 1. Well, those are the stories on the Vanguard. You can grab yourself a copy and read all about those stories. Now let's get to see another paper which we'll be looking at this morning. It happens to be Daily Trust. A major headline on Daily Trust says, why coups are unsettling West Africa. Well, that is one story that you get to see on Daily Trust there. That is a story on Daily Trust, and you can read all about it. Also on Daily Trust, airfares rise by 300% in 2 years. That is a business story, but it's also in our aviation sector. It's something that a lot of people have been talking about. The airfares, it's not just over 2 years. I think there's been a skyrocketing in prices of airfares in recent times. Some people blame the insurgency, the insecurity in Nigeria. A lot of people are scared to travel by road. So the demand has been high for airfares, air tickets, even right here, intra-Nigeria, people traveling across states in Nigeria not wanting to go by road just because they are scared for their lives. And also an effect of the Yuletide. You see that during the Yuletide season, a lot of people are traveling so much, so there is a skyrocketing in airfare prices. So, you know, that is one story you get to see on Daily Trust newspaper. Also on Daily Trust, genocide. U.S. lawmakers visit Nigeria on fact-finding mission. They're here now, and that's on page 7 of Daily Trust. Also on Daily Trust, you get to see what you should know about non-interest mortgage in Nigeria. In case you're planning to maybe mortgage a house or something, that's on page 39. Can read all about it. Also on Daily Trust, still on the issue of insecurity, bandits kill 7 in Sokoto communities, and that's on page 7. Also on Daily Trust, decomposed body of Quranic teacher found in Niger. That's on page 7. On page 43, you see Imo Seals Hotel mortuary over alleged organ harvesting, and that's on page 43. Those are the stories on Daily Trust. You can, grab yourself a copy and get to read all about these stories. Now let's get to see our next paper, which we'll be looking at this morning. It's Nature News, about our environment. Now let's get to see what it says. On Nature News, one of the major headlines says Pakistan floods claim 1,000 lives, displace 6 million citizens. That's one story on Nature News. Also on Nature News, you get to see another major headline there, and it says EU grants Nigeria 200 million pounds, to expand electricity access to 5 million citizens. Also, Nigeria insists energy transition must follow national realities. Also on Nature News, another headline there says climate change to displace 143 million people in Global South by 2050. That's said by the West Bank. Also on Nature News, Noah Lyles announces first race of 2026 Ice Strong Track. Also, AU pushes for tech-driven food systems at Maiden Digital Agric Confab. On Nature News also, CFI showcases Arab climate journalism, advances regional awareness. On Nature News also, NCDMB's industrial park to manufacture spare parts for oil and gas industries. Those are the major headlines on Nature News. Let's see another of our papers this morning. The next paper we'll be taking a look at is New Telegraph. New Telegraph headlines there: Police Vigilance Group arrests suspected bandits at Edo Hotel. It goes on to say federal government secures release of 100 Niger students. Nigeria, Churchill laugh last, says Adeboye. Nigeria Church will laugh last, says Adeboye, as Benue Archbishop laments churches burnt in multiple attacks, pastors, worshippers killed in the state. Also, Macron, France will intensify counter-terror assistance to Nigeria. It's still on insecurity. NSA U.S. congressional delegation holds security talks in Abuja, and those particular stories are on page 2, 4, and 6 of New Telegraph. Also, on New Telegraph there, you get to see Oshun APC pride disqualification, Omishuri, Adegoke, others seek Tinubu's intervention. On page 4, that's a story on page 4 of New Telegraph. Also on New Telegraph, UBA Group dominates 2025 Banker Awards. Also on New Telegraph, we're behind you. Zulum assures troops of Operation Hadinkai in Damboa. Still on the issue of insecurity, politicians fueling division in Nigeria, says Utomi, suggests use of drones to monitor Nigeria's highways. And that's on page 27 of New Telegraph. Other stories on New Telegraph are Labour Party reps to Tinubu, APC, prioritize welfare security, not 2027 politics. Atiku El Rufai rev up ADC with party membership as Obi leaves party in the dark. Well, that's on party politics. It's on page 2, 9, 10, and 11 of New Telegraph. We also see Nigeria condemns coup attempt in Benin Republic as authorities dislodge plotters. AU, ECOWAS, censor mutiny, and that's on page 4 and 7 of New Telegraph. Let's move on to our next paper now. Now, the next paper is the Punch newspaper. Macron holds talk as U.S. fact finders arrive. Before we go on to, see the rest of that paper, we do have our guest reviewer standing by, the person of Professor Dan Ekeraifo, who is the HOD Mass Communication Department at the University of Benin. Good morning. It's always a pleasure to have you join us on TMI.
Good morning. It's a pleasure meeting you this morning.
All right, so you've heard some of the papers, you've heard the major headlines, which I did try to, disseminate before you came on. Can you give us some of your insights on these papers?
Thank you very much. I will begin by the story on the bandit that was arrested in an Edo hotel. It speaks volume of the level of intelligence we are beginning to have. You ask yourself, if that young man was not arrested, what will likely happen in Benin City in the next couple of weeks? I would like to commend the security agencies, the intelligence community, who were able to track the young man to that hotel and got him arrested. If you follow the events of Nigeria in the past few days, you realize that everyone is now very conscious. I like to commend what the Northern State governors have done by setting up a security team where each state government is expected to contribute at least $1 billion every month to a fund which will help them recruit the right security personnel to address the issue of security. I have said on this platform again and again that even though the state governors are trying to raise paramilitary organizations to tackle insecurity, the way to go is for us to amend the constitution so that we can have state police. If you have state police with community input, some of these issues are issues community can easily manage before they snowball into crisis. The last thing I will talk about is what has happened in Benin Republic. I want to commend ECOWAS for reacting by supporting the government to dislodge those military guys. You realize that because it succeeded in some areas, these individuals who are in military uniform felt they can take over the whole of West Africa. That response from ECOWAS is indeed a very good one. Thank you.
Comment on what Punch says for the papers. First, I was saying Tinubu Macron holds talks as U.S. fact finders arrive. That's one major story on the Punch, which I'd like you to also weigh in on. We're having France come into the country to, talk about the security situation and offer their help. We also see U.S. delegation meets NSA, visits Benue, Nigeria, USI Security Pact, and bandits release 100 Niger pupils. This particular story on the security crisis in the country is something I want you to weigh in on, Professor Dan. So let's have your insights.
Thank you. I think it was a few days back that he visited Benue. I mean, the U.S. Embassy and their security team. It's a follow-up to the issue that was raised some weeks ago, a month ago, over the alleged genocide against Christians taking place in places like Benue, Plateau, and some part of Taraba and Southern Kaduna. Indeed, the U.S. government is not a government that will rush into taking actions that are inimical to the well-being of other citizens. By coming to Nigeria to do a fact-finding visit, it is to put pay to the counter argument from both sides, those alleged genocide, those country genocide. That is the essence of this visit. If they're able to establish places where these destructions have taken place, they'll be in a position to say, indeed, there are cases of genocide in Nigeria. Those who want to label whether it is the intention or no intention, I think their visit to establish the clear facts. That is one dimension of it. I believe the actual visit will send a very strong message to both the Nigerian government and those who are promoting security in Nigeria. If you watch what has happened in Nigeria, or what our structure as a state, we are surrounded by the French-speaking colonies. Benin Republic, Cameroon, Niger, Chad, they are all French-speaking. I think this meeting is a strategic one. It will help in providing the right intelligence, both from the French government and the Nigerian government, to counter the rising cases of insecurity in Nigeria. The fear some of us have, either the US visit or the French visit, is the tendency of these countries to promote violence. When they set a country on fire, they end up withdrawing. We have seen what has happened in Libya. We have seen what has happened in Syria. We have seen what has happened in Iraq. These countries are never the same again following the intervention of America. So if Nigeria must get it right, it must be a joint effort aimed at curbing terrorism in the real sense of it, not staging a war. So if government is able to negotiate with these countries, either in the area of equipment supply, military intelligence sharing or training, is a step in the right direction. But anything contrary to this, it will not spell well for us as a people.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Dan, for your insights on those issues that have stemmed across almost all the papers we've taken a look at this morning. I'm also grateful to you for your insights. Well, this is still TMI on the ITV network. We're still weighing in on the conversations that have, been the crux of issues in our social and political spaces. We'll take a short break and we'll move on to another leg of our program this morning, which happens to be the discussion segment, where we'll talk about, the wave of coups in Nigeria, in Africa, the waves of coup in Africa. Do stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said.
So
So,
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
people barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi
Yeah,
and something.
party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe.
That's what
And these
happens.
women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabrielson.
Thanks again for rejoining us on the program TMI on the ITV network, and we hope you've been having a great time with us so far on the show, looking at some of the major stories on some of our national dailies, which apparently encapsulate where we are as a people, where we're coming from, and perhaps where we are going. And it's our responsibility to continue to engage issues to help us have a better understanding so we can move forward as a people. And talking about moving forward, we're moving the program forward right now as we go straight to Canada, where we'll be talking with a former chairman of Ovia Southwest Local Government Council, who has been away from the country for some years, but he's been in touch with all the happenings, or at least some of the happenings back home. I'd like to thank very especially Comrade Morrison Ogunwobo of Yafo joining us on the show this morning. Morrison, good to have you on TMI on the ITV network.
Dr. Sonny Duke-Okoson, it's my pleasure to speak with you today and to the viewers in Edo State. Greetings and good morning from Canada.
Thank you very much. Well, how long have you been away? 10 years, 15 years? How long exactly?
April, it will be 8 years.
Wow, how time flies, how time flies.
Yeah.
I remember some time ago, I had you on the program here, you said something about leadership position, that when you are not in leadership, you see things differently. I mean, you see things from a different perspective. But when you are in position of leadership, there's a different feeling and perspective altogether. You literally came on the program, you apologized for some of the things you said
when you were not in office, haven't been in office, you saw the differences like 2 worlds apart. Do you still share in those perspectives? And can you relate that with where we are today in the country, where there are challenges left, right, back, center, and it looks like that critical question of leadership remains and continues to haunt us?
Yeah, sorry, Joe. You see, I still stand by that, because the truth of the matter is people who have not been opportune to be at the helms of affairs, they think leadership is an all-comers thing. But not until when they are being given opportunity, they begin to see the challenges that are involved in leadership. And that's why I stand by it. And I'm saying that you must give people the opportunity. When they are unable to prove themselves, that is when you know that this person has failed. Now, when I want to compare the life back home and what the knowledge I've acquired here, I know that there's a great disparity between what is happening back in Africa and what is happening here in the Western world. The structure here works. It's a structure that is effective, productive, and efficient. In countries like where I'm from, you understand me? Yeah. Office, position, or leadership is attached to the person, to the individual. But here in the Western world, it's a structure. Whether the person is there or not, the structure is a continuous process. But back home, the structure is not there, right? Rather, the thing is tied to the individuals that are in the office. And once they are not doing well, it affects the system.
Okay, my concern here is that you've had 8 years experience of making this comparison. And I also believe that many people who've had the opportunity to be in appointive or elective positions in Nigeria, they've had the opportunity of also being abroad and seeing how things are done. So why is it that when they come back home and they have such opportunity to lead, either to be elected or to be appointed, they act exactly the same way the average Nigerian behaves? They think like that, they talk like that, they act like that. Why? Is it difficult for them to replicate the things they see abroad back home so the country can change for good?
Okay, you see, sorry, Duke, the truth is so many people who you think lived abroad never got themselves educated or empowered in terms of capacity building for themselves, right? It's my pleasure to say that today I'm a certified Canadian Human Resources Manager, and I graduated from the prestigious Canadian School of Business, Science and Technology here in Toronto. And that, to a large extent, has expanded my level of understanding, my educational capacity, and also gave me the opportunity to partake in contribute to the well-being and development of Canada because I work. And that has exposed my expertise, built my skills, and what have you. But for people who just came for the purpose of, working without, acquiring education or developing themselves, of course, when they get back home, the expertise is not there. And, there's nothing they can actually offer. But for those who have acquired knowledge, if you give them the opportunity, they will do better because they will bring in a more modernized system that will be effective, efficient, and of course contribute to the development of whatever environment that they find themselves or position that they find themselves. In addition,
how do you justify that statement when you look at the state of the nation as we speak? There is economic challenge or challenges, social challenges, insecurity challenges, and those that you see at the helm of affairs, these are people who have done that, they've been there, they've had several degrees, they've gone abroad, stayed abroad, lived abroad, school abroad, but the story remains the same. So I'm trying to fathom the justification of the last statement that you made when you look at the state of affairs today in the country with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the saddle.
Okay, Sonny Duke, I'll say this quickly. You see, the truth of the matter is you find out that even those who are not functioning well, who are indisciplined, who have certain moral question, when they come to the Western world, they key into the system. You know why they key into the system? The system is functional, and it's not a place where you come and you mess up. Once you commit any offense that is against the books, you face the consequence. And as a result, everybody is standing tall to ensure that they do the right thing. For instance, I'll take simple examples. When you beat the traffic light, nobody will pursue you to ask you any question. There are automatic cameras that will take your license plate. And every license plate is well documented. Your data, your address, your phone number, everything. 2 days later, when you check your phone, your mailbox, you'll see your ticket and you go and pay. I just give you a simple example. Now, apart from that, for a country to be well organized, for a country to be productive, there are 3 things: citizenship, leadership, and good governance. Now, you see, here in the Western world, I want to talk about where I know. I live in Canada. I'm a Canadian by the special grace. Now, you see, here in Canada, every individual is loyal, dedicated, and committed to the sovereignty of the Canadian government. You understand me?
Because, just a moment, Morrison. Yes. That's because the Canadian government is also fulfilling its obligation or her obligation to the citizens: security, economy, good governance, accountability. When we have that social contract established, I mean, the loyalty will just naturally flow. Don't you think so?
Yes. Let me say something. You know, when Canada started some 150 years back, right? And do you know how they build the structure? They build the structure and system with committed people, dedicated people. From the primary school, the pupils are being taught to be loyal, disciplined, and they teach them moral standard. In the case of where we're from, Africa, people don't show emphasis on building young people, impacting moral standard into them. Look, do you know that sometimes if a father does something that is not right, the child will just sneak into another room, call 911. And you'll be surprised, how did this information come around? How did they get to know this? Because the kids are taught, right, to say whatever thing they see. And when they are being harassed, they are taught to report their parents. But in the case of Africa, because this is not peculiar to Nigeria alone, it's peculiar to developing countries across the world. There is no moral standard. Everybody.
Let me just bring you up to speed with some of the. You've been following trends in the country since the present administration came on board. Those who are perhaps party members would easily say, Mr. President has done well in terms of how far he's led the country. But as someone who is outside, monitoring the situation in the country, what's your assessment of the present administration, and what are your thoughts in the build-up to 2027 against the background, some of the undercurrents that we are seeing in the political alignment and realignment, defections and counter-defections, courts, orders and counter-orders, and what have you?
Well, first and foremost, the Nigerian economy started depleting since 1985. And those who have been opportune to be at the helms of affairs never took it serious to see how they can help to check the process. Every administration just came, did their own part, and they let it slide. Not until when you get to this stage that it's in a very bastardized situation. But however, the present administration, I think, in my own opinion, that they are trying their best to see how they will stabilize the system. Every Nigerian has a role to play in boosting the economy, because a country where nearly 78% of everyone is only interested in himself, they don't look at collective benefit. Everybody's interested in what he or she wants to benefit from the system. Nobody thinks about how do I contribute my quota to the development of the system. That is the major challenge. And apart from that, insecurity. I want to say something. It's so unfortunate, very unfortunate that we have found ourselves in this situation. You understand me? I was born and bred in the North, like you know, and I speak Hausa fluently. Like I was telling just a few minutes ago, you know, they had the Northern Northern Nigeria end of year party, and I was there, and I was talking to some of, you know, the Northern guys who are schooling here and who live there. I was telling them, the North that I know, the North that I was born, it's unfortunate that it is not what it is today. They have used religion, they've used politics, and they've used selfishness to mess up the whole system. And today, the thing has also moved, you know, to the southern part. Everywhere is not secured. From the information that we are getting, I'm not in Nigeria. I've not been to Nigeria for almost 8 years now. But from the feelers and what we see on the social media and what we listen to in the news, I was told that everywhere is in a very insecure, and which is so unfortunate. But I'm saying that the government is trying its best to see how they can put this in place. But Nigerians themselves must be willing to support the government to make this thing work. I give another example. In my neighborhood, I live in the center of Toronto, right? Where I live in Toronto, right? Once you step into various community, you see what they call neighborhood watch. Now, it's not as if it's a security system that is there, but the people who live within that community ensure that they report anything that they see. As soon as you notice somebody who you try to you suspect his movement, immediately you alert the 911, and they will come around politely to ask questions, to know why you are here and things like that. So, but you see, the problem we have in Nigeria is people hoard information. Your next door neighbor may be dubious, involve himself in various things because it's your neighbor, and because you are scared, you will not want to let the security operatives to know that. You see, when we help to safeguard our environment ourselves by passing out information and what have you, it will go ahead. But unfortunately too, you know that Nigeria itself, sometimes when you even inform the security agency, they are the ones that will later go and tell that person that, look, this is the person that, you know, passed this information. So it boils down to moral standing. Nigerians, honestly, I must say this, they lack discipline. They are not willing to be dedicated and committed to the growth and well-being of the country as a whole. The leader. Would you recommend?
Because there's an ongoing conversation now in the country about the establishment of state police. Mr. President has given his consent to it, has expressed his support, you know, towards creation of state police. Governors are also retarding with that, but there are some questions about its workability. Maybe part of the concerns is what you just talked about, that level of lack of sincerity on the part of those who probably will find themselves in such a situation. But would you subscribe to outright creation of state police in the country to tackle these security challenges, because security is local?
Yeah, the truth of the matter is, even in developed democracy, in developed economy, what we have is, you know, the state police it's a functional system that helps to curb, you know, security situations, right? Now, in Nigeria, my only fears is politics should not come in, where those who will be in charge of a state will not use the state police, you know, to hack on their opponent or the opposing party, the opposition party. You understand it? But apart from that, I think the state police is a welcome idea. Rather, it should be a welcome idea, because the people themselves will be part of those, you know, safeguarding their environment. I think it's potent, it is workable, it is doable. And of course, I think if commitment and dedication is shown, it is something that will be very effective and will help, to reduce the rate of insecurity in our communities. I think that's my take. I support it.
All right, let's quickly just conclude by looking at some of the undercurrents in the build-up to the 2027 general election. The concern is that politics seems to have taken center stage and governance now at the backstage. What are your concerns and what will be your advice?
Well, in developing democracy like ours, some of these tilting problems will definitely come in. And because of the desperation of people, to catch into, the system or want to be part of the system, everybody will want to do what we call initial gra-gra, to show their, how do I put it? They just want to be part of the process, and, they want to be involved in the build-up. This build-up that you are seeing, it's the same Nigerians who are politicians that are heating up the polity, right? But I think that if the system is functional, whether the build-up is on or not, governance should be something that should be functional, in the sense that it should be ongoing and the people should be feeling the impact of the leadership. Good leadership brings good governance. You understand me? And once a leadership is upright, a leadership is focused, and a leadership has already set out programs and policies that will, empower, its citizens, I expect that because the structure or the system is already put in place, every person's that is saddled with the responsibility to deliver the objective goal, the vision of that administration, should keep doing their job while the politicians do what they need to do in terms of gathering support for their party, enlightening people, mobilizing people for their party. Those are elements of democracy that you cannot shy away from. But what matters is those are the helms of affairs. They must first and foremost meet the main objective of their being elected into office, and ensure that the dividends of democracy is given to the people, because that is their primary objective. That's why they are, they were voted into office. You understand me? And at this level, there's nothing you can do. Everybody is warming up to take those who want to, those who want to challenge the status quo will be strategizing on how they can effectively do that. And those who are already there will also be strategizing to see how they can retain, power. That's how this thing works. Even in developed countries, that's how it is. There are a lot of things people will just say that they don't know. I live here and I know how this system works now. And I can tell you that, yes, there's a sharp disparity between developing democracy and developed democracy. But even at that, all these political schemings and what have you, it also takes place here. You understand what I'm saying? But because it's more of a private-driven economy, people don't really get to see it, in a sharp perspective. But once you live here, you'll see that it's almost the same. But it is done in a more civilized, more developed, and more accommodating manner than what is, obtainable in the developing democracy.
All right, Comrade Morrison Ogunwubo, thank you so much for joining us on the program TMI. We hope to have you on some other time. Thank you for your time.
Sonny Duke, I want to thank you so much for all the wonderful things that you guys are doing. I want to wish the Edo State people the very best. And I want to let them know that leadership is a collective responsibility. Do not criticize when you've not had the opportunity to go there. You understand me? Be more positive in your thinking and contribute to your immediate environment. Thank you.
All right, thank you. It's TMI on the ITV network. Our first guest on the show today, Comrade Morrison Ogunwubo Ovia, based in Canada. Used to be former chairman of Ovia Southwest Local Government Council. Next is another guest who is UK and UN ambassador on modern-day slavery and, of course, exploitation and all of those social vices. He's got so much experience. He's also a son of the soil who has been away from the country for several years. Sosa Hekoma is his name, but there's something very, very, interesting about that name. But all of that we'll get to find out in the course of the show. But we just want to establish the challenges that people go through, especially when they are exploited ignorantly. Some have survived, but many have died. This is one of such survivors. We'll be talking with him in just a moment on the show. Don't go away.
Reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
bully we're talking
That's
about.
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something. You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see when they are dressing them or are dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will
Many thanks again for rejoining us on the program TMI on the ITV network. We're broadcasting live from Benin City, Edo State, South Nigeria. It's such a delight to have a very splendid guest with us in the studio. I like to call him Big Sosa Hekoma. He's a lived experience ambassador based in the United Kingdom, recognized for his frontline work supporting victims of exploitation and modern slavery. He works closely with UK Police Service, advises government agencies, mentors vulnerable young people through his charity work. Sosa also represents the UK on international platforms, including the United Nations. This is Sosa here, not me. This is Sosa here, right? Of course, for better protection systems for victims and survivors. His story is one of resilience, transformation, and a deep commitment to creating a safer future for vulnerable communities. Sosa has done several work, lived experiences, ambassador based in the United Kingdom, recognized for his front. Now, Sosa, it's good to have you on the program. Let's begin from the very beginning. Is Sosa a Nigerian? If he's a Nigerian, is he from the north, from the east, from the south? From where is Sosa from?
I would say, obviously, Sosa is basically short, and there's a name where, for me, when I came into the UK, it was like trying to fit in. So my actual name is Isosa.
Isosa. So you remove the I, just go with Sosa. Interesting. Isosa who?
Isosa Henkoma. So you see, obviously, if my grandma was here right now, my grandma would be saying, his name is not Sosa. His name is Isosa.
I expected that. That certainly would be how she would feel, because she knows the name she gave you. That certainly wasn't the name she gave you. But for you to fit it, you had to adapt something else.
Yes.
Okay, what was the journey like for you going abroad? Did you went through Libya route, or how did you?
So for me, I actually went through the plane. So obviously, my dad was originally moved over there, and he had a status over there. And because he had a status over there, he asked basically for me and my stepmom at the time to be reunited with him in the UK. So we got on the plane and was allowed to come, just obviously come with a five-year visa.
Okay.
So I was meant to be there for 5 years, and then obviously it will be then obviously extended and everything else.
Okay, so what changed in terms of how life became? I mean, you had a huge ambition in terms of when you get to the UK, how life was going to be for you.
Yeah.
So what changed all of that?
I would say when I got into the UK, obviously my stepmom became more physically and also mentally abusive. And I'll say obviously, probably a lot of people definitely know this, especially in Nigeria, when it comes to stepmoms.
Yeah.
And it could be very, very difficult where you're trying to, obviously, I would say I wanted a new mom, and for her, she was very much not willing to have a child from a previous, obviously, relationship.
Yeah.
And she wasn't happy about that. So a lot of times it was more of a factor of like, your dad doesn't love you, all of these type of things. Then when that didn't work, then she just started beating me for no reason and everything else. But then after a while, I ran away from home because I was told that was the best thing to do at that time, obviously by other kids that was around that time. So running away from home led to me being put into the social care service over there, which is like it's for kids.
Okay. Just to be able to take care of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did that help you to be who you wanted to be? What now changed? Because now you're more or less like an ambassador for the UK on issues that relates to exploitation, modern day slavery, trafficking, drug abuse, and all of those stuff. So how did you get into all of that?
I would say from the age of obviously being put into care, I was then obviously introduced into the gang culture through a family member, so like a foster care. So the people that was meant to be caring for me, one of their family members was actively involved in gangs.
Gangsterism.
Yeah. So because he was involved with gangs, it was very much a thing where he introduced me into that culture from a very, very young age. But I was actually proper taken into it later on, not by him, but by his friends and everything else, where at the age of 11, I was given a gun for the first time.
So what did you do with the gun?
At that time, I was told that the gun was there for safety. It was there to protect me, and obviously if now anyone at that time wanted to harm me, then obviously I had to use a firearm. So I was taught how to use a firearm, how to take apart a firearm, and how to put it back together. And then after that, I was introduced to what we call the drug trade, where I was taught how to turn cocaine into crack, and also how to weigh up the drugs so it's ready to be distributed.
So you were neck deep in all of this?
Yeah.
How did this affect you?
I would say mentally, it was a thing where I started smoking a lot of weed to try to survive, and obviously to block out a lot of things that were going on. And physically, I got stabbed more than 11 times, shot twice, iron in my stomach. Died before the age of 12 and resuscitated back to life. So literally, so I say physically and also mentally, it affected me deeply. And I was probably exploited for 11 years. So from the age of 11 all the way to the age of 22, where a solicitor, because I was facing deportation, said they were going to deport me back to Nigeria. And a solicitor was the first person to actually sit down and thought, like, there's something wrong here. Tell me your story. After telling her my story, she then told me that I've been groomed into exploitation. Never really knew what exploitation was. Because it was normalized, especially in the UK, selling drugs at a young age and everything else. So young people getting involved into criminality is normal. And because it's normal, it's just very much a fact of kids are being bad, kids are being naughty. That's what they called it. But obviously, when I was told it was exploitation, it took me a while to understand it. But after dealing with my deportation and not obviously getting that removed and getting my status in the country, it was a fact where I believed that if I wanted to make a change, then I have to become that change. And in becoming that change, I was then able to, I would say, start delivering training to the police and everything else. And especially because of the name that I had growing up, it was a fact of if anyone was going to make a change, it has to be someone like me to make that change. Because if now, like the difference in names, when I was younger, I was labeled a devil. Now I'm labeled as someone which is classed as hope, that gives other young people's hope, give the next generation a chance, because that's what I fight for.
Interesting. Where were your parents in all of this? Your stepmom, your dad, where were they, all of this?
So,
you really haven't mentioned so much about your dad in all of this.
So my father at that time, so when obviously I was put into care, I was removed from my family. And obviously being removed from my family meant that my stepmom obviously faced criminal charges for obviously abuse. And at that time, my father, as a husband, tried to protect his wife. And that led to obviously me being left obviously aside. So his wife got protected and I got left in the UK.
Interesting. If you just join us, it's still TMI on the ITV network. We're talking with Isosa, who of course is a UK UN ambassador against modern day slavery, exploitation, especially child exploitation, drug trafficking, human trafficking, and all of that. He's been sharing his very interesting story with us. The dream of being abroad, which he had, literally turned sour because all the dreams and the aspirations never really materialized the way he planned it. He got involved in gang or gangsterism, got stabbed 11 times, shot 2 times or so, and according to him, he literally died and came back to life. And that's quite, painful to see that a young man who has so much potential just got himself into that. But there's been a turnaround for your life. Yeah, you want to share with us that journey? How did it happen, and how did you get into all of these ambassadorial and the consultancy, services you're rendering for the UN, for the UK, and then how does it feel like coming back home after 20 years?
I would say for me at first it was a fact of obviously due to the immigration situation, I couldn't leave the country for probably, after coming out of prison in 2020, I couldn't leave the country for the last 3 to 4 years because I had to deal with my status in the country. And I would say I was introduced to an organization called the Human Trafficking Foundation, which specializes in helping survivors of modern day slavery. And when I was introduced to this organization, they started doing a training, which was train the trainer, teaching me how to become a public speaker. So learn how to become a public speaker. After learning how to become a public speaker, I delivered training to a couple of professionals. Then I realized this was something that I actually enjoyed doing. It was a talent that I had. So obviously for me, it was a fact where it's like, I felt like if now I wanted to lead the change, I have to be involved with the sector. So I carried on delivering training, and that led to me obviously being ambassadors for other organizations. And then obviously, I'll say early on the start of this year, that's when I'll say I've been a lived experience consultant for 3 years now. So early on the start of this year, I was given a contract with Burberry, which is a like a luxury clothing brand. I done that. Then on top of that, I was also invited by I'll say like a organization body part of the United Nations called the OSCE to come speak at Vienna at one of the conferences. And since then, I spoke at Vienna, spoke at Poland. I go to the Parliament, the House of Parliament in the UK every single year. I've been involved in writing researches, policies, and making changes. And obviously, when it comes to working with young people, I've done residential trips for young people. So that's taking young people away from the area they're from to give them a different type of environment, educating them on what to look out for, how to protect themselves, and just stay safe in these environments that they're living in. And I'll say so much more. And for me, it's basically actively giving, I'll say, the next generation a chance that I never had. And for me, as soon as I was given my status, especially, I wanted to come time ago to come see my grandma, because obviously, you know, my granddad had 2 wives. My granddad had 2 wives. Obviously, my grandma has passed away, but my step-grandma, which is my grandma anyway, to me, I love her the same way, is still alive. But for me, I wanted to see obviously my mum's mum before she passed away, and I kept on trying, but I couldn't. And as soon as I was given my status in this country, my only grandma, which is my step-grandma now, and that's the only grandma I have, and my family are the only family I have in this world. So for me, I wanted to reconnect with my family, and I wanted to also understand, I'll say, the journey of my mum, because for me, I understand my journey, but then to find out that my mum tried to obviously make her own way to Europe herself, and there's a small chance that she might have ended up in exploitation and everything else. It's for me, I wanted to understand why my people make these journeys, why they take these risks and everything else. So it was very important for me to come back here and reconnect to my root, understand where I'm from, and I feel like that will also make me a better person, a better public speaker. It also helped me stand on what I believe in a lot more stronger. So for me, it's like the only way for me to feel Nigerian, because at the end of the day, I was born and raised here till the age of 7, is to come back home and reconnect with Nigeria.
Okay. Specifically, do you have projects or programs you are doing to help young people to have a different perspective towards life, particularly as it relates to this desperation to go abroad? I mean, in your own case, it's a bit different. What we're very much used to back home, people out of desperation go through Sahara Desert and all kinds of channels to get to Europe and America, and then of course they get themselves involved in all kind of things. But you were a little bit more privileged to fly a plane abroad, but unfortunately, somehow the family structure that you were in didn't allow you to blossom and flourish to become what you wanted to be. Maybe this is destiny at work, and that's why this came this way. 100%. So what's your advice to our young people who are into some of these things you talked about?
I would definitely say, for me, obviously I've been back for like a week now, and being back for a week now, also understanding Nigeria a bit more. It's like there needs to be a bit more opportunities for these young people to be able to grow. And there's not enough opportunity in Nigeria, so a lot of times most young people try to find opportunities elsewhere, and they will take that. If now it's like basically someone struggling and trying to survive every single day, then someone comes with a golden ticket. 100% you're going to take that.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't matter how risky that golden ticket is, you're going to still take that. So it's creating that opportunity. And also, I'll say even the economy, rising it up a bit more. For me right now, coming home, is like, I want to now come back and invest in my home. And I feel like even most of the people that are in Europe, in all these different countries, we need to invest back home. We need to make sure our economy grows. Like it took a couple people to make Dubai. Look at what we can do to Nigeria. Like literally. So it's that for me, it's actually starting small, and hopefully able to make change. I went to the Fela Kuti shrine while I've been here.
In Lagos.
In Lagos.
Yeah.
And in going there and seeing just how Fela Kuti's mom, like the activism, what they were able to do and that, and the changes they were able to make.
Yeah.
Those are just the one family. So imagine if now I'm able to actually bring the changes and everything else that I'm trying to do over there, and also target home too, and be able to make that changes at home.
Yeah.
That's something that like I'll say, when I first got here, it was very much focused on trying to understand why my people travel. Now, being here is very much a fact where I want to now see what I can do to help my people.
Okay. Thank you very much, Isosai Koma, for your time with us on the show. I know we're going to have more of you in the days to come to share your experience with. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's still TMI on the ITV network, and we've been talking with Isosai Hekoma. I like to call him Big Sosa Hekoma. Of course, UK UN ambassador on issues that has to do with child exploitation, drug trafficking, illegal migration, modern day slavery, based on his experiences. But he's back home after 20 years to contribute his quota to the development of Benin City, Edo State, and by extension, Nigeria. We've got Iharo on standby in Abuja Network Studio. Iharo, I'm sure you've been following our conversation here. Quite an interesting story. And when you have a dysfunctional family, this can happen. And I think parents, especially fathers, should learn to protect their children more. But in most cases, when a man is in love, he can do anything for a woman, sometimes even sacrificing his own child. And that's exactly what just played out. Do you want to take it off from there?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Sonny Duke Okoso. Sometimes, not just within the family context, even the society also speaks to that. When societal values appear badly eroded, yes, sometimes it starts from the family, but sometimes society as a whole needs to define and redefine itself within the context of where moral stand. You know, Sonny Duke, some of us who were in Edo State in the 80s, where we got some guys actually going abroad, then we used to call it, they call it, I think, Akata. Yeah, Akata was the name. Later on we got Jandor, now we're heading Jakba, all of those names. You know, sometimes when those guys started going through, sometimes we saw people selling their parents' houses, and I know of a friend of mine who was going abroad and told me, say, Ata, if I reach US, I go wound Bini. I go wound. If I come back, I go to wound Bini. His mind was not to make money, but to come and wound Bini. Say if I reach main gate, then his secondary school. We're in SS3. Then he said I go wound main gate. His mindset was already to come to Benin, get a nice car, and drive round to main gate, go to Ring Road. And quote now, panic people. And I saw one other small one recently who told me, I want travel. I said, why? He said, we don't to take Timberland match me for this Benin. I want match men. You know, it's a mindset thing. And when society changes that, then we know that we are good. Thank you very much. And I thank him for speaking out and getting persons who would likely make the mistake of the prodigal son to understand that we got one who is already back home now, enjoying with the parents, who is now an ambassador that can speak against drugs, speak against some behavior that can damage the future, and one who believes that we can attain all and young people must be guided. Thank you, sir. Dr. Sonny Duke. Thank you very much. Now, let's quickly run over now, if you permit me. Let's run over now and look at issue of coup d'etat in the African continent. Just last week, when former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan returned from what transpired in Guinea-Bissau. He said the president there was losing the election. So he planned what some persons call a black market coup by allowing the military to take over because he knows he cannot win. So he brought the military in to take over, and he planned a black market coup so that the result will not be announced. But within the Sahel, we've seen several coups d'etat. Burkina Faso and several others already governed by the military. And just yesterday we saw some guys rising up against President Patrice Talon. And when they rose up against Talon, they took over the state broadcasting facility and made some announcement here and there. And according to what President Bola Tinubu said through his media aide, Bayo Onanuga, a note verbal was issued to the Foreign Affairs Ministry here, and Nigerian government acted swiftly, took over the airspace. Beautiful one, the America of Africa, took over the airspace and also got some ground troops deployed, support the Benara troop, and quell the coup. And today, Patrice Talon is president, and this week he will likely be in the villa to thank President Tinubu, thank Nigeria, and all of that we have been able to defend democracy. We're supposed to see him this week in Nigeria to thank Nigeria for deploying, taking over the airspace, deploying and quelling the coup d'etat. But now let's quickly discuss with our guest, who will be explaining all of this. Looking at democracy, looking at military coup. Why is it not common? Why is it not becoming something fascinating for persons in the African continent, particularly the West African sub-region, to see military come take over and dominate? Our guest this morning is Obajide Olebo. He would be a barrister. I will be explaining that's not the screen there. Barrister Obajide Olebo, and we will be looking at that. A very wonderful morning. Can I call you Barrister Jide now so that we leave the Oba out of it?
Barrister Jide is fine.
It's fine, so that we leave the Oba out of it, and we'll run with Barrister Jide. Okay, now, Barrister, let's quickly start with first. I will open that to you, give you enough time. Why is it we are saying coup? Because the first time we saw coup was after the collapse of colonialism, imperialism in the African continent, when the first nationalists came on board and we are already governed, we started to see military guys going in coup. The one that happened in Ghana that ousted Osejefo Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana. We saw the one that happened in Nigeria that ousted Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, Abubakar, and several others here. We saw the one that toppled Patrice Emery Lumumba, and we saw several other coup d'etat around the 60s, and many persons feel that was when Africa snowballed back into the dark era. But in recent years, we're seeing coup d'etats coming up, most of them commended, and we saw the one we had last 2 weeks, early last week, that the former President Goodluck talked about, the one that some persons called a black market coup d'etat, where a civilian was losing election, he got the military to come in and take over power. And yesterday we saw why all of this military insurrection.
That's a real, in fact, it's not a jump question. It is RSA.
Okay.
That is RSA. But, first thing first.
Okay.
The continent itself has a fundamental issue. And that fundamental issue, I'm sure social scientists, but as a lawyer, I am the learned. Every other person, you are educated. So what I say is right.
Okay. As the court pleases.
God pleases.
As the court, let's sound like the lawyer. As the court pleases.
As the court pleases, yes.
Okay.
So when you look at it, the African continent, ab initio, does not have what it will take to become a developed nation.
We don't have what it will take, or we are not working in that. You sound. I'm coming. Let me sound like someone before you in the bench. I'm Milord. Are you saying we don't have what it takes, or we are not doing what it takes?
We don't have what it takes to become America, to become London.
Are they made by a different God?
Well, maybe when I do this explanation, you will.
Okay, go ahead.
Every society, because our problem is congenital. That's the point I'm trying to drive at.
Go ahead.
And that problem, as we continue to defy all the academic theories that professors are propounding. They are holding conferences up and down and writing all the books. If they don't come to this and address this and identify this, well, then we cannot start. Everything we do will be another cycle will come back to it. So it will either be a good government that is elected will turn bad, some will turn the middle. There's some people who go and connive with international organizations and international bodies or another president to come and take over the country for them because we don't have something. And what is it? Every society evolved. Every society evolved, starting with communalism. Communal. You day, I day. Just like, imagine 3 of us now just land in mass.
Okay.
No population. So we have to stay together. Okay?
Yeah.
So when we are afraid what may be out there, we are communal. After a while, when we got used to the environment, okay, we start demarcating and delineating. Okay, you stay there, you stay here, but we still stay close to each other. So that if there's any emergency, we can recall. Then you have children, I have children, then we begin to expand. But that communalism was there. Then we move on to feudalism and I told you, we start going into all of those places where, okay, you space up. So, Oba of Benin now have children. One now go down this side, now form a community there. That one now form community there. That one now form community there. Feudal. That's where we begin to talk about boundaries. One boundary here, one boundary there, or your Jesha boundary, Ondo boundary. Feudalism. Unfortunately for Africa, that was the last development that we of ourselves evolved into. We were so feudal, we plateaued on feudal, marry many wives, get many farms, do more cropping, harvesting, and all. Other societies moved on to communism, where at some point people gathered and said, listen, when I go this side, who takes care of the concept of state? That is where you're called. At feudalism, there's no state. At communalism, there's no state. The concept of state occurred when people started thinking about communism. Let us stay together and let some people manage the affairs of everything so that how this water in this part, how the water in Lokoja will serve the people in Abuja. Some people should begin to think about it. Why we go about our business? All right? Then communism went on, and some people said, these guys that you put here, they are just enjoying it alone now. No, let us make this thing. This thing is not even enough. Oh, some other choices came up. Some people went to socialism. Some people abandoned socialism, went to communism.
Okay.
Some people left communism to go to socialism. They were trying out what works.
Okay.
On the society, the world got to that point where, all right, now, economy becomes the order of the day. The most important thing now is economy. The bourgeoisie, the lords, all of them now, they want a freedom. All this one subjected to state and all the kind of thing. The likes of Trump in America got to that, the like of Jeff Bezos, the like of Elon Musk. In that era, that decided, listen, this is not going to work. They created capitalism. Whereby now, listen, as much money as I can get. You can tax me, fine. But that it is the state that will own everything. No, it cannot work. We want to go into business. Then they start going to industrialization. People started funding. People like Thomas Bells, all of them started coming out. Thomas Edison and all these other big guys started coming out. Reason now became the order of the day. Unfortunately for Africa, you and I, we all went to school. Nation one communist state in Africa. None. Nation one socialist state in Africa. None. But Africa was invaded by the people who have gotten through communism, socialism, and enter capitalism, and they handed us capitalism. Without communism, without social, what do I call it now? Without the other one, okay, I can't work. Those two things are the things that make citizenship and the concept of state an integral part of the people and their society. Those are the reasons why when there is a law, nobody's above the law. Because it is the state that is bigger than every other person. They've gone through it over the years. That is why nobody can just deal with government with tar road. Somebody will just come and go and use veto power. And he will carry digger and he will dig across the road, destroying the structure and the tensile strength of the road that has been compacted over the years. That is where pothole will occur. Nobody will try that in Germany. You won't try it in London. Policeman will resign, and many other things will happen if his integrity is questioned, because there is a bigger concept called state. Now, when you come to Africa, as I told you, what we need to become, we don't have a people, everybody for himself, God for us all. And it suits us. Don't think that the coup attempt in Nigeria at work. People who have entered the street and danced now. Did you not see Nigerians in UK when Nigeria went to play football and they were singing an anthem that government has said they should not sing again in a foreign land? We lack citizenship, sir.
Barrister Jide, now I thank you for that long historical and theoretical explanation on how we metamorphose wrongly to where we are. Now, in the face of all of this, I want to take you on two things here. When we had the 1960s coup, very strange scenario, we chased out the imperialists, both those who have coming from the UK, both those who have coming from France, both those who have coming from Portugal. We have chased them away and we've liberated Africa, and it was time for us to celebrate democracy, many countries metamorphosing into republics and all of that. We saw the military boys flushing out the entire civil structures almost across the continent. Now, what is happening now? Is it a sign that democracy is failing or African leaders are failing? What is informing this one we are experiencing in this last 5-6 years?
I will answer that.
Okay.
When the imperialists you're talking about came,
yeah,
with their capitalism orientation,
yeah,
they killed 3 things.
Okay.
First, good, our appetite.
For what?
And for everything. And they tied it to their apron string. Palm wine became ordinary drink. Rum, Sinan became original. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Ordinary looking mirror for a woman. A mirror the size of a palm was more than gold. Any female who had it in the community then was a big woman, because prior to that time, they look inside bowl of water. Then double barrel made Dengon inferior. Who designed Dengon? Is it not our people? At that point, sir, our sense for technology died. Our sense for self-identity died. Now going forward, and I'll describe it. I'm not even the one who describe it. We emerged in independence, genome edited, like a GMO seed that has been programmed. But I'm saying that to say, because you asked me, this fresh round of poop, where is it coming from?
Correct.
It's coming from the fact that intelligence has it that some organization under the pretense of whatever, some USA, some Western world, had a special training for African military officers across some certain belts, and it turned out that all the countries that you have had up to Burkina Faso, they were countries that those officers went to that training from. So it is purely agenda.
Now, let me come now. Let's start to narrow it a little. What happened yesterday is still an issue of political and security analysis. Yes. What's your take on the swiftness with which Nigeria respond to the note verbal from the Foreign Affairs Ministry of Benin Republic and quickly deploy, took over the airspace, sent some soldiers by foot to the Republic? As a country, we don't do that when we get some report of communities coming under severe attack. But yesterday, we saw Nigeria acting more like a Donald Trump or a Putin or a Netanyahu or a Jinping. By the note verbal came into the Foreign Affairs Ministry from Benin Republic, President Patrice Talon having gone into hiding, and our fighter jets took over the airspace of that small country, and our military advanced, and the coupists ran away. Are we that powerful outside? Or is it the fact of a man who shares yam in the market square while his children are begging to even have seen yam to eat at home with faded palm oil?
We don't need to pamper that issue.
Go ahead.
We know the fact that at home we have compromises within ourselves. So fighting insurgency within us is a question of interest, personal interest. You know for a fact the extent to which our military has been infiltrated by apologists of the terrorists and banditry, and you know the underdealings, the political mixture. But when it comes to Nigeria, as a Nigerian army, displaying or exhibiting their skills, all those generals that you are seeing there, they are not toys. They are not ordinary men. They've been to war colleges all over the world. It's not that they don't know how to fight, but it is a command in order, and that is the problem.
But how come they got that command yesterday swiftly within 1 hour to quell a coup outside the country, and don't get that command to quell uprising of banditry, Boko Haram, and others within the territorial land space of the Federal Republic of Nigeria?
But when you hear that officers are being dismissed because they refuse to carry out order not to attack bandits, then you know that this command has its own version of command.
Okay.
Okay? So internally we have our issues.
Correct.
Our issues is that the bulk of our issue when it comes to security is that our society, which is a mixture, a highly heterogeneous society that we are.
Okay.
Where the things that matter is not about the nation. We are not about nation building. Everything I said, talking about how other societies evolved, is about nation building.
Okay.
It's about citizenship. It's about responsible citizenship. It's about you marking your own spot. Whereby, and when you do it, nobody comes to attack you for doing it. If you expose a criminal in the US, you are celebrated. Not one member of your family will come and say, who sent you on your own. You'll be applauded.
Correct.
100 over 100, you will be appreciated for that. But in Nigeria, you do it, better go and hide somewhere. Everybody will disown you. What's your business? What is your problem? Now only you sabi. So we have a total different orientation to to how we relate. The way Nigeria reacted yesterday, that is the old common potentiality that we have, which we exhibited in Liberia, which we exhibited in Sierra Leone, which we exhibited in the, what's the name of this country? Principe.
Sao Tome.
Yeah, well, Obasanjo said, I'm playing now. If I like there, you are not planted over.
Yeah, you're correct. That's Principe and Sao Tome.
Yes. So, Nigerian might is not a joke. But Nigeria within Nigeria, it becomes Hausa Igbo. It becomes Fulani Hausa. It becomes Yoruba Igbo. It becomes Niger Delta versus Northern Delta.
Okay.
So that once it is Nigeria with Nigeria, there is no citizen of Nigeria. We are all nationals.
Okay, Barrister Jide.
Sir.
I got about 2 minutes now to connect to our Lagos Network Center. But quickly, let me ask you, what is the lesson here for political leaders in the sub-region? You are breathing very hard. Is it very heavy?
Who do you want me to talk to?
President Tinubu and his colleagues in the West Africa region, John Mahama, President Tinubu, you can even touch Paul Biya in our neighboring area. Just all of them, if they are to stay before you in a hall and you are to address them at the ECOWAS heads of states and government session, what will you be telling them now?
What they should know now is that the citizens are wiser, especially in Nigeria, for Nigeria. I know about Nigeria. Nigerian citizens, you can't compare them with citizens from Benin Republic. At all. We are independent individuals who have learned to be government to ourselves. Then they should. Citizens, the international community is also watching. They need to watch their steps. For once, let us have a Pan-African that is for Africa. I salute what the man in Burkina Faso is doing. I salute his courage. I don't support military, but hey, that's a man that deserves a handshake and a salute all the time. Because he's redefining the narratives. Why are these foreign people interested in us? It's not because they love us. You think it's because they care about us? No, they care about themselves. When are we going to care about ourselves?
Okay, thank you very much. We will leave that question here for President Bola Tinubu, President John Dramani Mahama, President Paul Biya, several other presidents within the West African. Hello?
Yes, sir.
I said, want to leave it there. I thank you very much for being part of the show. And let's hope that Africans will listen and our leaders will listen too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Barrister Olajide Olobo. We thank you, Obajide Olobo. We thank you very much for joining us on this all-important program this morning on incident coup d'etat in the Africa, particularly the West African sub-region. Okay, now we'll take you over to Lagos, where Mr. Lena Nkwa is standing by to actually look at ban on VIP attachment by the police. Is it working? Most of these guys are carrying guns and following the big men. And sometimes some say they're already disguising now. They just go on suit like DSS and their policemen, those who have not been fully removed. But let's see how it goes. Let's know what will be coming in from the Lagos Network Center as they trail the ban on VIP attachment, police attachment to VIP. Very important question. Are we not important? That's the big question. Over to you now in Lagos.
with us. We're still on CMI, the continuation of news and current affairs program. I am Marcelina Unko. And this beautiful morning, our guest here that would be helping us analyze today's topic is Bishop James Grant Okocha. He is a political analyst. Hello, Bishop. Good morning.
Good morning, Mercy. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good to be here once again.
And thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, this morning from Lagos, basically, we are looking at VIP escorts ban and assessing its impact on national security and public safety. We all know that the federal government has begun withdrawing police escort from VIP, sending the thousands of officers back to the streets to tackle insecurity in Nigeria. For many years, ordinary Nigerians, have faced kidnapping and bandits with little protections, while VIP enjoy full security. And now the big question is, will this move finally improve safety for the people, or is it just another policy with no real impact? Bishop James.
Well, yeah, Mercy, thank you so much. And this is a real issue. I'm glad to talk about it. For me, this is a right step in the right direction. For me.
Okay.
The Nigerian police, I think, approximately, we have about 371,800 personnel within the circle, right? And then people that have gone to work with the VIPs could be like, I think, about 100,000 plus, like 30%. And these VIPs, they are just like less than 5% of Nigerians. Less than 5% of Nigerians, and you have like 30% of the personnel being attached to them. Now you can see the void, the security void that will create. Because you can see one VIP that would take about 6 officers and all of that. And you know that we have places where we need the presence of these men. We have places we need them. And if you look at this critically, who are the VIPs? Because to me, to an extent, the police right now is standing with people they should stand against. There are fraudsters, because they can afford the police. They will have the police. There are land grabbers. In fact, to an extent, police protection to VIP unchecked has become like an immunity to organized crime. Because you are a city girl, I travel, I go to the village, I run an NGO, I'm on the street, I know what happens. You can see a very poor palm wine tapper who will just be, thrown apart at the sighting of a police officer. And you can see one big man that can just grab his land, and then he can't do anything. So to an extent, even from being protection, it has become intimidation. To an extent. So I am commending the president for withdrawing our police personnel. This is the manpower. What he just did right now is to redirect the police manpower, right? To frontline police functionalities, which is making sure that there is no breakdown of order in the society. So the public space is the first place of assignment. If you check the function of the police, you will not see it spelled out, protecting the VIPs. Are you getting it? So for me, this is right. And I just wish that it could be sustained, because most of these VIPs, in quote, let me use certain political personalities, okay, they also create, what are they afraid of? They're afraid of insecurity. What are they afraid of? Certain things that is going on in Nigeria right now, they play the role in creating those monsters. So let all of us be in it.
So let all of us be in it.
Yeah.
You don't think they really need, at this point, I saw some persons are actually worried that how would these VIPs cope? They are used to escorts, going out with escort with this police and all of that. Now that they've withdrew them, from the
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about...
what I said.
So
So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
now, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women.
I think it will help curb insecurity.
Well, there are two groups in this insecurity thing. A group is doing it because they want to do it. A group is doing it because they are even paid to do it. But there are people that join people that are doing it because they are hungry. So to an extent, it will reduce insecurity. There are people, if you call them out and engage them, I mean, they won't go back. As straight as that. So I know that if there is more employment opportunities, if people are empowered, if people are engaged, if people are working, you will have less people that is into banditry. Even in the far north, you will have less people that is committing crime. You will have less, fraudsters. So it will help crime to go down in Nigeria. It will, because the VIPs will start thinking, how do I make the society a better place? How do I do one or two things that these people will be, impressed? Instead of being, like I said, a kind of, intimidation, because that's the truth. I've seen where a certain VIP ordered his police to beat people up for no reason, scaring people, and all of that. So what I'm saying is, this is very good to our nation. It is very good to the state of this nation right now. It will reduce banditry. It will reduce insecurity. If they know that if there is a pothole somewhere as they're driving, they will slow down, all right? They will slow down, and these armed men are not all around them. They will fix the road. So they will move fast. So directly or indirectly, digest it very well. You will see that I think Mr. President woke up from the right side of, his body.
But do you think these VIPs or the police officers, the police personnel, do you think they would comply? Because some Nigerians doubt the sincerity of the police. Do you think they would actually comply?
Well, don't forget that every police officer is answerable to the IG of police. And the IG is answerable to Mr. President. And Mr. President is answerable to the Constitution.
What about the VIPs? Do you think the VIPs will comply?
The VIPs are answerable to the Constitution.
You just said something earlier that the VIPs, you see some of this person, they might just dress in suits, you think they are DSS, and they're still there. They're not complying. I mean, they are just doing it in a way that you would not know that these people, they are still police personnel, you know, protecting.
Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something?
Okay.
Except Nigeria is not serious about this. Do you know what is power? Every VIP is under the law. Nobody is above the law. Except the government is not serious about this. If Mr. President meant what he said, and the IG of police is committed to it, I hope you know that the IG knows who is on duty part-time, who is not on duty part-time. I hope you know that he has the security information of this country on daily basis, minute to minute, on his hands. Let me tell you, you know Nigerian DSS. If you are far, you think they don't know what they're doing. Nigerian DSS is one of the best in the world. There's nothing happening here they don't have the intelligence. I'm telling you, those guys are professional. So if the police meant that there is no one serving that should be, you know, attached to anybody except the government says so, it is easy. So what I'm saying is not about VIP compliance or the personal compliance. They don't even have an option because everybody is under the law. That's what I'm saying.
So they don't have an option.
They don't have an option.
To comply.
They don't have an option, except the government want them to comply.
We saw that a special monitoring team was adopted across states to check hotels, events, offices, airports, and major roads for unauthorized police escorts. I think that would also help that whosoever that is not complying would face punishment.
Let me ask you a question. You know, the Nigerian police knows how many guns they have. They know who they assign guns to. It's not porous. It's an organized system. Do you understand me? It's an organized system. If I'm not on duty and I decide to be on mufti to follow a VIP to function, at that juncture, I'm an ordinary citizen.
Because you're not in uniform?
No, not even. I'm not on duty. I'm not on uniform. I'm not on duty. Are you getting it? If a policeman is not on duty, anything he does is illegal assignment. So if you're not on duty and you follow a VIP or something happened, you kill somebody mistakenly or something, they consider you a murderer because government didn't send you. Police people are sent. I can't just wake up as an officer and do whatever I like to do. No, it's assignment. I will come back and give report of how I performed as I went out. So there is no how, there is no escape route, except the government wants it to be porous.
So let's talk about the insecurity that have been happening for a couple of weeks now. We've been seeing cases of kidnappings, banditry, ISWAP here and there happening. Insecurity as being a major problem in Nigeria that we've been facing. And you know, the genocide, I don't want to talk about, Christian genocide, rather. You know, Trump saying it would come to Nigeria to help with Christian genocide and all of that. What would you have to say about insecurity as a whole in Nigeria, you know, with what has been happening and all this escort ban? I mean, the precedents, of course, a lot of Nigerians, a lot of people, citizens, have been crying to the president that we need help. We need, we need a lasting solution to the problem of insecurity in Nigeria. So, what would you say about the insecurity that have been happening in Nigeria? Do you think insecurity would, let me use the word, disappear one day in Nigeria, and we would be free, you know, going out, you're not scared that something is going to happen and all of that? What would you have to say?
Well, let's not mix these things up. You see, we have headsmen, killer headsmen, all right? These are people that are having issues with farmers. They are different from kidnappers. These people are cattle rearers. They're having issues with farmers. So it's a different, killer headsmen, that's a different group. Banditry, people kidnapping, is a different group. Some that are agitating, I don't know what deal they said they have, that they have not been compensated enough, I don't know. They are doing their own banditry. Terrorism is different. Let's not mix these things. there are people terrorizing Nigerians on religious basis. So terrorism is different, we're suffering it. Banditry is different, we're suffering it. Herdsmen clash with farmers is a different, ball game, and we're suffering it. Are you getting it? Now, these things need different approaches. You can't do just one thing and handle all of these. First of all, herdsmen farmers clash. The federal government has taken some steps, promoting ranching right now. There's going to be ranching, right? Where you will not be, this nomadic style of cow rearing will no longer be there. So absolutely, that takes care of the killer herdsmen and farmers clash. So with that will go down.
Okay.
Now, terrorism, which is a nightmare. That's what you see. People will be in the church. Someone will just invade there. There's no problem. They will keep people in the church, take the pastor, do whatever they like. That terrorism is a global war. And Trump never talked about the herdsmen clash. He's not even talking about the banditry. He is talking about terrorism, which is a global war. Are you getting it? And Nigeria cannot fight terrorism because these people doing this are not just Nigerians. There's also an organized system that is funding this.
So the people doing this, they are not just Nigerians.
They are not just Nigerians. There's an external influence. ISWAP is an external influence. You see world terrorist organizations extending into this nation. So you can see that these things are different and they demand different approaches. And I think the military, in fact, General Musa knows this more than any other person. The army, they know. So, and I'm glad that the man that have been appointed right now as the minister for defense, I know he has intelligence, and I know he can handle it.
So you think he's going to do the job well done?
He will do the job, if not sabotaged. If you allow me to advise the president, because I see that there is zeal right now to do something, I will tell the president my thought. Every person that was recruited into the army as a repentant Boko Haram, expunge them. Our borders, like General Musa is saying, block our borders, face our borders, so that whoever that comes in, we don't have accurate data. Whoever that comes in, will know who comes in, will know who goes out, to avoid external infiltration. But for the people within already, let everybody you see show his family tree. That's where state policing comes in. Everybody you see in the police, let him tell you the village he came from, his local government, his grandfather. Trace him down. Otherwise deport them. You see, even the Fulani is telling you that most of the people doing these things are not them.
So who are they?
They don't know. Some people came in from, Mali, Nigeria, and all of that. That's the truth. Most of the people doing this are not our nomadic Fulanis that are cattle rearers. But a Fulani man thinks Fulani. So wherever a Fulani man is, he thinks Fulani. So a Fulani man in Nigeria thinks Fulani, a Fulani man in Nigeria. Are you getting it? So what I'm saying is, it's possible to have that peace that we do enjoy in Nigeria, but it's not a one-day thing. But as we're taking steps, one by one, I believe in 6 months' time, there will be peace in Nigeria.
I like the fact that you set a duration for it in 6 months' time. You think that all these things will end?
It might not be, but at least everybody will know that everywhere is calm. Like I tell you, this thing didn't start overnight. And it won't end overnight.
I mean, the former president of Nigeria, and President Olusegun Obasanjo, came out to say that the issue of insecurity did not just start now, that even during his time, that the issue of insecurity has been ongoing, that it is not going to stop now. And I mean, some persons were saying that then, we know it didn't start, it starts during your time, right? But then it wasn't as bad as this.
For me, I just think that what made it to get to this extent is just because at the point it seems like these people were taken for granted. It seems like government didn't really know the extent of harm they can do. Are you getting it? So there is no, you know, that extra aggression, you know, that is just invested on them. Government didn't know that these people, you know, I'm not making excuses for them, but you know, I have been in this studio many times. I've been shouting about insecurity. When something happened in Benue State, I was here, and I was saying, bring these people to book. We are not seeing them being prosecuted. Show us on TV. Show us when they go to jail. Show us how many years sentence. Let all that see that people that have been arrested, you know, have faced the law.
I mean, the Kebbi girls that were rescued, a lot of Nigerians were saying that, I mean, you guys came out to tell us that we saw the videos of them being rescued. How many persons were apprehended? How many of these bandits, you know, were arrested? Not just coming out to tell us that, okay, we were able to rescue this person, but what about the bandits? Were they apprehended? I mean, a lot of Nigerians were asking questions at that point.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know whether it was IG Michael Kiro, or I don't know the IG that was there, you know, in the police that they had, is it Ego Eye or something? What they do is, 1 week in the day, they will parade on TV, right? They will show all the crime, the criminals, you know, in their custody. The police was doing that, all right? We want to see that. That's what I'm telling you. It's because they were not named, they were not shamed, they were not persecuted, all right? It seems as if you can go just scot-free. You see them carry AK-47, move around the street, and no one is arresting them. That's why these things increased.
So, Bishop James, how do you think the police can restore public trust, especially after years of underperformance and corruption allegations?
Transparency. Transparency. Whatever they tell us in the book, let our eyes see it.
Okay.
Transparency. Not the time where somebody could be accused, is in jail, before you know it, you see him somewhere in one supermarket buying something. Transparency. Show us what you are doing. Let's follow it up. You saw when Nnamdi Kanu came to court that it was televised. Transparency. Every other criminal you are arresting, everyone you are arresting, bring them on air. Let's see what is going on, so that Nigerians can follow it. Don't just tell us and go behind and do something else.
Transparency.
Transparency.
So you believe the police can sustain this street enforcement, especially when influential people begin to push back?
Well, I can also say that those influential people, those VIPs, they have resorted to, you know, having security around them because of insecurity too. Do you understand? If the Nigerian police, if the manpower of the Nigerian police is redirected to frontline security functions, okay, core policing functions, are you getting it? I mean, even the VIP will be will feel secured if the Nigerian police is having an organized security, you know, outings right now. There will be less fear. So I don't know what the VIPs will be pushing back for. They are afraid because there is fear in the society. But if the police shows up today and show capacity, you think it will be like that? If you deploy military all over, the street of Nigeria, do you think those VIPs will be carrying police around? They will have a sense of security. So let the police give everyone sense of security. You are talking about a VIP. A VIP is a soul. You are a soul, I'm a soul. Human beings, I call. Opportunity make the difference. So what we're talking about here is security of human lives and property, irrespective of who he is. Let the police show us capacity so that, we can believe that Nigeria is safe for all of us.
We keep our fingers crossed to see what would happen next. Amen.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much, Bishop James Grant Okocha, for helping us analyze today's topic on VIP escorts ban, assessing its impact on national security and public safety. Will it help curb? Different security escort has been, withdrew from VIP, to help curb insecurity in Nigeria, and we hope it works, because we are looking for a lasting solution in Nigeria, and we pray and hope that it works. Once again, thank you so much for helping us analyze this topic.
Mercy.
And thank you for always showing up.
Thank you.
Thank you all Nigerians. Thank you all our viewers for joining Lagos Network Studio this beautiful morning on TMI. We would be handing over to Benin City for the continuation on TMI. I am Marcelina Unkwa. Do stay with us.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her, if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them up or dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves. Good morning and welcome to ITV News Updates. I am Chuku from Nanya Digwe. Now, Christians have been admonished to prepare for the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ and to emulate his ways of salvation. The Assistant Parish Priest of St. Gabriel the Archangel Catholic Church, Sapele Road, Benin City, Reverend Father Philip Oikena, gave the advice during today's Sunday's Mass. Efosa Wangwe reports that the honorary Romanian consul to Edo and Delta states of Nigeria also attended the Sunday's Mass.
In his sermon, Reverend Father Philip Ohina urged children to prepare for the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ. He explained that this is the season when we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ, and therefore believers must prepare for God's salvation by abiding by his rules and commandments. Reverend Father Ohina advised the congregation, especially during this period, to shun criticism that may create division among Christians. He stressed that everyone should be kind to one another in order to attract God's blessings. The parish priest noted that during this period of Advent, every Christian should repent and practice what they preach so as to receive divine favor.
Of the second coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, the day we do not know, and also to prepare for his coming at Christmas. Hebrews chapter 12 from verse 14 tells us that without holiness, no one will see the Lord. We are called to be holy. We are called to be perfect like our Heavenly Father.
The Esama of Benin Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Sawa Igbinedion and the Centurage were among the worshippers at the St. Gabriel Catholic Church this Sunday. From Benin, Efosa Wangwe, ITV News.
Now, it was a double celebration at the Upper Sapomba Branch 2 of Christ Chosen Church of God International in Benin City, as the church dedicated baby Chibweze Chikaza Usakwe, the son of Reverend Ezekiel Usakwe, and also held its 2025 Harvest Thanksgiving service. Several dignitaries attended the church service. Ewusa Agbolao has the details.
The baby dedication and Thanksgiving were officiated by the spiritual leader of Christ Chosen Church of God International, Senior Apostle Dr. David Unoefe, who was represented by the divisional head of GRA branch of the church in Benin City, Apostle Felix Eige. In his sermon, the spiritual leader emphasized the importance of gratitude to God, explaining that thanksgiving is the key to receiving greater spiritual and financial blessings in the coming year. He likened gratitude to the simple act of a child thanking a parent after a meal, noting that those who do not appreciate God should not expect abundant blessings. He further stressed that worshippers must give God their best, just as they would never present an unworthy gift to a governor. According to him, as believers sow bountifully, so would God bless them richly in the new year ahead.
As Noah that day rose up when others died and came before God with special offering, that is how God expects me and you today to come with wonderful gifts. With wonderful what? Gifts, products, and money to lift up the name of the Lord.
Reverend Ezekiel Osakwe, whose son was dedicated, is the personal assistant to the spiritual leader, Senior Apostle Dr. David Unoefe. The choir also rendered melodious gospel songs to the delight of the congregation. Ewusa Agbolao, ITV News.
In another report, the spirit of thanksgiving has been emphasized to be a conscious, continuous mindset of thankfulness to the Almighty God, and not just a reaction to good events. The General Overseer, Spirit and Life Family Bible Church, Apostle Dr. Gordon Osagede Jr., handed down the admonition at the Abuja auditorium of the church in a live broadcast to all branches of the church during this year's annual Global Thanksgiving. The report is presented by Pius Onsogo.
The General Overseer, Spirit and Life Family Bible Church, Apostle Dr. Gordon Osagede Jr., who quoted copiously from the Holy Bible, said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 18, the Lord commanded all Christians to be thankful to him in any circumstances, no matter how difficult, as he will rescue those who exhibit uncommon faith. Dr. Gordon Sagede Jr. said, the spirit of thanksgiving is a conscious decision to thank God, no matter the situation, recognizing that all belong to him and must trust his process, even when things are slow.
The spirit of thanksgiving is that mindset that no matter the circumstances or situation,
I will thank him. I know he's with me. I know he's leading. I know he's directing. It's a decision. It's us recognizing that he is near.
Apostle Dr. Osagede Jr. also emphasized that Christians must reject the lie that trouble means God has abandoned them. The theme of the Thanksgiving service include the Turn on Your Praise to King Jesus session, lifting up voices and worship, as well as celebration of the goodness and mercies of God. The Spirit and Life Family Bible Church says the annual program is their culture globally to thank God on the 4th Sunday of every November. Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
Moving on, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has urged the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Joash Amupiton, to promptly account for the missing or diverted 55.9 billion naira meant for the purchase of smart card readers, ballot papers, results sheets, and other election materials for the 2019 general elections. SERAP said the grave allegations are documented in the latest annual report published by the Auditor General on 9 September 2025. SERAP also urged him to disclose the names of the contractors that reportedly collected over 55.9 billion naira for the purchase of smart card readers, ballot papers, results sheets, and other election materials for the 2019 general elections, including details of the directors and shareholders, as well as the contractors' addresses. SERAP, amongst others, also urged Professor Amupiton to refer what it described as grave allegations of constitutional and international standards to appropriate anti-corruption agencies for the prosecution as appropriate and to ensure the full recovery of proceeds of corruption. Now, these demands are made in a letter dated 6 December 2025 and signed by SERAP Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadari. A special team of police officers has embarked on a monitoring exercise in strategic parts of the country to ensure compliance with the recent presidential directive on the withdrawal of police escorts from very important personalities, VIPs. The squad, which was set up by Police Inspector General Kayode Egbetokun, monitored compliance at the Lekki-Ikoyi Link Bridge, Lagos, the domestic wing of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Ikeja, and several other strategic points. Force Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hundeyin said in a statement that the exercise revealed a satisfactory and commendable level of compliance by officers and men of the Nigerian police force. According to him, no case of unauthorized deployment of police personnel for VIP escorts duties was recorded during the monitoring, and consequently no arrest was made. He quoted IGP Egbetokun as saying that the police remain committed to the full implementation of the presidential directive. Moving now to business news, stakeholders at the 2025 National Agricultural Extension Review and Planning Meeting have outlined key recommendations to strengthen Nigeria's agricultural extension system, deepen research adoption, and improve food security. The experts, in a communique issued by the chairman, Dr. Habib Abubakar of the National Cereals Research Institute, NCRI, and members of the committee emphasized the urgency of improving research, farmer linkages, and equipping extension services to respond to climate change, digital transformation, and rising national food demands. Now, that's the size of our package on ITV News Updates. I am Chukwufum Nanya Digwe. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Up next is TMI Socials.
certainly the best. ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits.
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking
That's
about
what I said. So
that's-
when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there that are so desperate to be married?
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They can't
smart.
sit
If
down.
you see when they are dressing them up and dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
Good morning and welcome. This is TMI Socials. I am Chukwufumnanya Digwe. Now here's what's making waves across the social media space. We begin with the foiled coup attempt in Benin Republic. Now Benin has foiled a mutinous soldiers' coup attempt at a TV station as Lieutenant Colonel Pascal Tigri led a small group of mutinous who seized the TV station, formed a military committee for reconstruction, and called for national cohesion. Interior Minister of Benin, Alassane Seydo, labeled it a mutiny, while loyalists quickly retook the site, arresting 14 plotters. Now, when you talk about Nigeria's own part in this, Nigeria aided decisively with Air Force jets at Benin's request, helping secure the TV station and a military camp under ECOWAS protocols. President Talon addressed the nation, confirming control and vowing punishment as calm returned. Now let's get to see this small snippet of the broadcast by these coup plotters in Benin Republic, and then we'll take more on this particular story.
Le comité militaire pour la refondation CMR, réuni ce jour dimanche 7 décembre 2025 à Cotonou, a délibéré et décidé ce qu'il suit. Monsieur Patrice Talon est démis de ses fonctions de président de la République. Le lieutenant-colonel Tigui Pascal est nommé président du comité militaire de la refondation pour comité de ce jour, fait à 2025. Communiqué numéro 2. Le comité militaire pour la refondation CMR, réuni ce jour dimanche 7 décembre 2025 à Cotonou, a délibéré et décidé ce qu'il suit.
Well, that's the little snippet of the TV broadcast by those military personnel right there in Benin. You know, in an attempt to oust the government of the day headed by Patrice Talon. Now, let's see how the social media space is reacting as regard this failed coup. We'll take the first reaction from the President of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In his own remarks, he said, "Earlier today, on my orders, the Nigerian Armed Forces stood gallantly as a defender and protector of constitutional order in the Benin Republic. On the invitation of the government, our armed forces acted within the ambit of the ECOWAS at ECOWAS CEDAW Protocol on Democracy and Good Governance. They have helped stabilize a neighboring country and have made us proud of their commitment to sustaining our democratic values and ideals. Since 1999, Nigeria stands firmly with the government and people of the Benin Republic." Well, that is the comment of the President of Nigeria as regard the failed coup. Now let's take a comment from Atiku Abubakar. It says, "I condemn without reservation and in the strongest possible terms the coup d'etat in the Benin Republic. This reckless trend of assaults on constitutional order is utterly unacceptable, not only because of its dangerous proximity, but because the era of military interference in governance is long over in Africa and our sub-region. It is concerning that these coups are happening around election times in the affected countries." Let's see another comment. This next comment will be taken, is saying, "Nigeria military intervened in Benin Republic coup. Wonderful. Nigeria should now have a military base there as the US normally does. Nigeria should take over the country and recolonize them." Well, I believe that this is a sarcastic statement. Let's take the last comment from Daniel Rega on this issue. Daniel Rega, who is a social media enthusiast, says, "Nigeria is sending military aircraft to Benin Republic and busy monitoring the situation due to the coup attempt, whereas our country is seriously bleeding non-stop as a result of the insecurity challenges. Shouldn't our resources be used to fix our own problems first?" Just of recent, there are reports of bandits attacking in Sokoto with several persons killed and many taken away, not to mention the many reported attacks across the nation, with no possible solution in sight. But the government is focusing on Benin Republic. It's the height of unseriousness. Well, these are the comments on this particular story from the social media space. Now, very quickly, let's take our next story from the social media space. We'll see actually Atiku Abubakar, ex-vice president and also a presidential candidate from the last elections, come out to go and visit a courtesy visit to GEJ. Let's get to see the reactions that followed this courtesy visit of Atiku Abubakar to the former president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now, the comments are saying, if Nigerian politicians devoted as much energy to nation building and fostering harmony among our diverse ethnic groups as they do to election strategies, Nigeria would be greater. Nevertheless, I wholeheartedly wish you a success, Your Excellency AA. Now, let's take the second and last reaction before we move to our last story. This reaction says, the man on the left supported a propaganda that was targeted at the man on the right, and because of that, he lost his second term as president since over 10 years. Today, the man on the left is now trying to be the president, and he desperately needs the support of the man on the right. Somebody shout fire. Well, these are the comments as regards the courtesy visits from Atiku Abubakar to the ex-president Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Now for our final story, and it stems right here in Edo State. Edo governor blames kidnappings on election plots by political actors. Now, Okpebolo told Ohanese Ndigbo leaders in Benin City that recent kidnappings in places like Utem Markets and Mechanic Road aims to undermine President Bola Tinubu ahead of elections, much like tactics that hurt Jonathan in 2015. Now, he vowed not to yield to the pressure. Let's get to see this news brief by our very own governor, and then we'll take reactions real quick.
To blackmail. Because what they are doing now is that they will go and kidnap people just because they want to discourage Mr. President. But Mr. President is resolute. You are kidnapping people for somebody who wants to win an election. It's not fair. They did this to Goodluck and they succeeded, but we have known their trick already.
Beyond the politics was a practical conversation on everyday challenges, flooded roads, overstretched markets.
Well, that is the comment of Goodluck Ebele Jonathan as pardon of Okpebolo, Governor Okpebolo, as regards the kidnappings that have raided the state of late, and he is blaming these people trying to discredit the government of the day. Now, let's quickly take reactions before we call it a wrap on the program. This reaction says, if you have not personally visited Edo State in the last 6 months, don't be too quick to criticize this man. Well, let's see the next comment. The next comment says, if he can publicly allude to grave allegations, he can publicly clarify them. Nigerians deserve transparency, not encrypted storytelling. Who exactly made Nigeria ungovernable? We're listening. Let's take the final comment. This commenter said, kidnapping didn't start today. It began when you people were in the opposition. Insecurity was weaponized to push Jonathan out of government. Now the same tactics you once used are being used against you. Don't lament. Face fronts. Well, those are the comments as regards the statements of the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebolo, following the spate of kidnappings in Edo State, which he did credit to people trying to put down the government of the day. Well, that's where we call it a wrap on TMI Socials, and of course, TMI as a whole. We thank you so much for being a part of this production. To our viewers, our guests who joined and delivered very, very invaluable insights, we say a very big thank you, and do have yourself a wonderful day ahead.